Okay, this is kind of a common question which I, keep getting asked from people on how did you do all these things plus, two courses?
Hey friends, welcome to China Coaching. Rob here. This video, we're going to be talking about a double master's degree. Our friend's going to be sharing about his MBA along with another master's on top of it. And we're going to see if you can handle that. Check it out, my friends. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm really excited about this video. This friend has so much experience, some great tips for you guys considering MBA or master's abroad. So Gautam, please go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Rob Awesome Adams. It's a pleasure being here on your video. So, hey guys, my name is Gautam and I come from Chennai. I came here to the US in 2018. And before that, I worked in India for about 6 years. Out of that, 5 years, I worked for Tata Consultancy Services as a software engineer. Along with my software engineering job, I also had a business of my own in the entertainment and media industry. So about 5 years of software experience and about 6 years of entrepreneurial experience. And then I came here in 2018 to do my MBA. And like Rob said, I didn't stop with an MBA, I added an MS to it. And now I'm working as a digital marketing professional in PMG Digital Agency right here in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, so he's just across town in the cowboy part of Dallas in Fort Worth. And it's a fun area to visit. Gautam's got 2 months under his belt with his full-time job. So congrats, buddy. I know you've been waiting to start. And people starting jobs during this year is always a big deal to celebrate.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rob.
Awesome. So before we get into the details of your degrees, first of all, just why did you choose to pursue a double master's? Well, the first time I heard that, I thought that was crazy.
Well, it is crazy to be honest, but there are reasons for, why you want to do a double master's when you are an international student, especially. So the first and the biggest reason is that a double master's gives you the STEM advantage. Now, an MBA, especially in UT Dallas, is not a STEM certified program. And there are very few universities in the US which give you a STEM certified MBA, and that's like pretty rare. You have like a handful of them who are doing a STEM certified MBA. Technically, MBA is not STEM because it's a management degree, and STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, if I'm correct. So MBA is not STEM. And if you add an MS to it, a Master of Science degree, you're going to get a STEM advantage. So you get to, do a 3-year OPT against a 1-year OPT that the MBA gives you. That's the first thing. And it's a big advantage, especially being an international student, because companies would want to hire you. Now, imagine you just have 1 year of OPT. Companies would think twice before they hire you, because let's say they hire you, they train you for 1 year, they try applying for a visa and your visa doesn't get through. All the investment that they've put in you goes down the drain because you cannot work here anymore. But if you have 3 chances of getting that H-1B visa, companies have a better confidence in taking you in for a job. So that's a big advantage of doing a double master's. And second thing, of course, I'm someone who loves learning new things, who loves constantly learning things. And I think a double master's gives you a lot of learning because, we believe in a T-shaped learning. The MBA gives you a breadth of knowledge and the MS lets you deep dive into one specific area and get a depth of knowledge. So these are the
That's a good example.
Yeah, so these are the reasons why I chose to do a double master's.
I like it. And so you did an MBA, and then paired with that was your master's in business analytics. And just to make sure I heard, one was the STEM advantage. So the STEM majors in America allow you to have 3 years of OPT work on your student visa, where an MBA, which is non-STEM, you only get 1 year of work after graduation. So that's a huge factor for international students. So now let's give some just description and job scope and course scope of these degrees. First, let's talk about the MBA before the MSBA. So talk a little about just the MBA course and give a brief description about it and kind of the scope for people who might be considering that degree.
Sure. So MBA, especially in UT Dallas, and I think probably, in most part of America, is a course, I would probably say it teaches you how to think better, more than adding so many skills under your belt, because you're not going to learn Python and SAS and R when you're doing your MBA. It's pretty rare. You might take 1 or 2 quant-heavy courses as part of your electives, but predominantly your courses are going to be about, strategic leadership, about global business. So it kind of opens your mind. MBA is like for people who have a closed mind, who have not seen a lot of things in the world. It kind of opens your mind and it makes you more curious about a lot of things. Now, for example, we had a course called Global Business by Professor Mike Peng. And Professor Peng is one of the best professors for global business, hands down. And he has written the textbook on global business, which is followed by most universities in the world. And not a lot of people know that. And he's a professor at UT Dallas, which is a huge advantage that we guys have. So Professor Peng's class focuses on how business is done in different parts of the world. Like if you're an American company, you want to open up a branch in China or Japan or India, what are the steps to do that? So things like that. So an MBA is more about making you that manager, that ideal manager that all your subordinates would want to see. And we have courses like strategic leadership, and we pretty much have a basic course on everything. We have courses on accounting, we learn finance, we learn marketing. So we learn bits and pieces of everything. That's why I said it gives you a breadth of knowledge. So that's about the MBA program. And more than that, it gives you a great experience. And I feel that I've started thinking and problem solving much better after taking the MBA program, because it helps you to think in the right direction when you have a business problem.
I love it. And for MBA with your classes, was it more like taking exams or doing projects or writing papers? What was kind of the class and coursework like?
If you look at classes like strategic leadership and global business, it was more about writing papers, especially with strategy management. It was all about writing papers. We never had an exam for strategy management. And we used to hate that class for one reason, because it involves a lot of writing. But then now when you look back, it feels that you have actually done the right thing. We were asked to choose an industry, choose a company, deep dive, do a ratio analysis, financial analysis, and see how the company is doing, what are the recommendations we can give. And also subjects like organizational behavior, for example, a lot of it was about projects and papers and presentations and stuff like that. But at the same time, we did take classes on accounting and finance. Those were more about writing exams and creating those tests and stuff. So it's a mix of both. A lot of your core classes on accounting, finance, statistics would be exam-based. But a lot of amazing classes like global business and strategy management and information technology for managers. Now that was a class that we took. So these kind of classes have less of exams and more of doing stuff.
Well, that's a good breakdown. That's good to know that there's kind of both aspects of that. Now let's shift to your other master's degree, the MS in Business Analytics. Go ahead and give a description about that course and the scope of that as well.
Assignments. I'm just kidding. So we did have a lot of assignments, of course. And Masters in Business Analytics, especially of all master's programs, is heavily quant. It's super quant heavy, because of all 6 classes we take, as far as I remember, I think 5 out of the 6 core classes are based on statistics. So it's like you have predictive analytics, you have prescriptive analytics, you have basic statistics, you have, a lot of statistics classes. So if you're someone who is not comfortable with numbers and statistics, I think you should think twice before taking a master's in business analytics. But I believe that the Indian education system is so wired into, quant heavy subjects that quant shouldn't be a problem, especially for people coming from India and China, as far as I've seen. Because our undergrad is like that. Most of us are engineers. We have already taken statistics in engineering, so it's kind of easy for us to do. And electives kind of depend on the stream that you want to choose. So in business analytics, we have I think 5 or 6 tracks. So we have marketing analytics, we have financial analytics, we have operational and supply chain analytics. And you have I think 2 or 3 more tracks, which I don't exactly remember. And your electives depend on the track you want to choose. Now, I'm a heavy marketing guy, so I wanted to choose marketing analytics for my concentration. So all the electives that I had were marketing analytics based. So I had web analytics with Google, with Adobe, and classes like that. So but MS Business Analytics is mostly quant heavy. You will have a lot of assignments, a lot of exams, a lot of projects to do. It's a fun class if you love numbers. But you need to have, the time and space mentally to do a quant-heavy course like that.
And there's lots of tools and softwares and language kind of things you have to learn as well with an MSBA, right?
That is true. You have SAS, Python, SQL, R, Stata, name it, we learn it.
Did you have a favorite subject that you took in your MSBA?
Of course, I had many, to be honest. One of them was predictive analytics with SAS with Professor B.P. Murthy. He's an amazing guy, who you can see him, bleeding with passion when he teaches that subject to you. And another professor who was equally passionate and a wonderful professor whose classes I liked was Professor Guido Turone. I took 2 of his classes. One was marketing web analytics and marketing data ecosystem. He's an adjunct professor at UT Dallas. His full-time role, I think, is with Neiman Marcus as the director of marketing analytics. So he brings in a lot of that industry knowledge into your classroom, so which is great. Professor Moran Bluestein, I'm sorry, can't get her name right, it's hard. So Moran Bluestein was amazing with econometrics. So UT Dallas does have a lot of great professors. Now, like, hands down, I can say that for sure.
Definitely. He had some great exposure and great experience. Now, Gautam, along with a heavy course load, 2 masters at the same time. So you were taking double the courses, double the assignments than your typical student here in a 2-year program. I know that you weren't just hanging around at home watching Netflix, but you were a very involved student with many clubs and organizations. I know you did Toastmasters and the Indian Student Association, and you would DJ on the weekends. You love doing road trips, which I hope maybe we can make another video sometime about renting cars and hearing about your road trip adventures. But
of course, I would love to talk about that.
So another video, another time, how to rent cars and road trips in America with Gautam. But how did you manage your course load with all your activities, organizations, and extracurriculars as well on top of that?
Okay, this is kind of a common question which I keep getting asked from people. How did you do all these things plus 2 courses? And I always tell people that if you ask me, I was able to do 2 courses successfully because of all these things. Now imagine I'm getting double the amount of course load. Like you said, I have about 15 to 18 credit hours every semester. I take 3 courses for my MBA and like 2 or 3 for my MS. So it keeps going. So there's a ton of assignments and projects and exams. And if it was not for these clubs and all the fun little road trips and all my weekend DJ gigs, I would have been totally burned out to do my master degrees. And I think these student clubs, all the wonderful experiences I had with ISA, Indian Student Association, all those events we did from fall batch to Sangam, those things kept me happy. Those things kept me, in a mindset to do 2 degrees at the same time. The only piece of suggestion that I would give people who want to do 2 degrees is, 1, please get involved in a lot of student organizations, because end of the day, when you go and sit for interviews, you will have 1,000 people who have done an MBA and a Master's in Business Analytics. So the differentiator here is the stories you get from your student organizations, stories on leadership, stories on conflict management, stories on time management. So your student organization experience is going to add a lot of stories to your story buckets when you sit for interview. So that's definitely a huge difference maker. And 100%, these clubs and stuff will help you be at peace when you do all your degrees. Just plan ahead. It's not that difficult. If you have a weekend DJ gig, if you have Fall Bash or Sangam coming up with the Indian Students Association, and you also know you have an exam, just plan for that exam like, a couple of weeks prior, make sure that you knock it off and you're ready for all the fun and for a great grade as well.
Dude, I can totally resonate with you. For me, doing petroleum engineering at a top college, I don't know if it was like a double master's, but it was a heavy course load. It was one of the toughest at the college. We were working all the time, but for me, I was involved in lots of other stuff too, with sports and orientation leader and music and Greek life and all these other fun things, kind of like you did. And that was my motivation as well. Like, all right, I'm going to focus and get my work done so that I can go have fun. And it was outside the classroom where you learn leadership, networking, problem solving skills, and just have a fun break and catch your breath and get re-energized to go back to the books in the classroom and rock out those projects and exams. So yeah, you definitely need to have a life and involvement outside the classroom to do these really tough programs and not burn out.
That is true. You have to blow the steam somewhere. So, and I can totally imagine how you would have been in college.
It was a lot of fun. So yeah, a lot of memories and I'm thankful for my experience for sure. So definitely get involved. Extracurriculars that's what the college experience should be about, especially here in America. It's all about what you do outside the classroom. It's more than that piece of paper.
And you brought up another point, they give you a lot of memories to take back.
Yeah. Have some fun before you start working the rest of your life. So
that is true.
All right. So our chai question for this video is, you guys watching, are you considering an MBA abroad? Let us know in the comments if you're interested in an MBA, maybe which country or colleges you guys are looking into. Have a little dialogue there. Gautam, let's just go ahead and wrap up this conversation. Any final tips or lessons learned from doing this kind of double master's program, or any kind of thing you just want to leave for people and recommend who might be considering a path similar to this?
A couple of small things. These are things that I've seen people doing, especially international students, and I wanted to please ask you to think of it before you do this. Number 1 is your choice of team. Now, every class you take here in the United States is going to have group assignments, it's going to have group projects. So you will have to choose your teammates and form a small group with which you work on your projects and assignments. And one of the things that I often see with students from India or international students in general is they kind of group together with people from their own country or their own state or city. Now, I have more often than not seen Indian students form small groups with only Indian students to do projects and assignments. And my advice here is please make sure that your teams have diversity, because that's when you get the true learning experience of coming abroad to do an MBA or a master's. People may not like me for saying this, but think about it. If all you wanted to do was stick to a bunch of people from your same country for your projects and assignments and every activity you do here, you're coming to the United States is, for the lack of a better word, becoming pointless here. Think about that. So when I choose my teams, I've always made sure that I had some diversity. For example, when I had my team for the advertising class, we had 2 Indians, 2 people from America, 1 from Mexico, and 1 from, I think, Brazil or somewhere. So that's the kind of teams that I choose, because people from different parts of the world have different work cultures, and you have so much to learn from each one of them. So think about, choosing teams which are super diverse, and please don't stick to the people of same kind. Yes, it's super comfortable. You can always switch to Hindi when you're doing your projects if English is getting difficult. That's all there. Totally agree. But tomorrow, when you get into corporate America, I think you will have to work with a ton of different people, and it's wiser for you to prepare yourself for that one.
Second thing I just want to add one thing real quick. Like, if you've seen any of my other videos, I say the exact same thing. Break out of your bubble, try and do projects with Americans or people from other cultures, because that's just going to prepare you for the real world. It's going to help your job search. And I think, Gautam, you made such an incredible point. So please definitely listen to what he's saying and apply it, because it's really going to serve you well, just as it did Gautam in his experience. And go ahead on your next point, sorry.
Have a lot of fun, and most importantly, a huge tip that I will give you is try and participate in as many case competitions and hackathons and all the other things that you can do outside of school. Now, I've had the opportunity to participate in case competitions for different companies like Pepsi and AT&T, and it's so much fun to work with your teammates on a real business case. And it's also, it feels nice if you win, you get that prize money, and of course it adds a huge value to your resume, and people do value this when you talk about these things in interviews. So please do that as well. So I just have a couple more. The second one that I have is make sure that you stay ahead of schedule, be it applying for jobs, be it doing your assignments and projects or anything. In fact, I would say that if you're coming to the United States for your MBA or for your master's, I would say probably work on your LinkedIn profile and your resume way ahead of time, so that when you land here, you're not starting something from the scratch. You already have a LinkedIn profile and a resume that you can just tweak and refine and polish, and right away start applying for jobs. And with job search, please stay ahead of your schedule, because if you stay till the last minute, you're going to make things more difficult for yourself. Like, if you're looking for a job in summer 2021, I would say now is the time to start applying. So get ahead of your schedule, start applying early, start finishing your assignments and everything early. Have a lot of fun, of course. And the final thing that I would definitely want to let people know is please make sure that you create a brand for yourself, which is really, really important in a country like the United States, because there are certain things in which people ask my opinions for, like, for example, renting a car or getting a driver's license on one side, and marketing analytics on the other side. Personal branding on one side. So these are some of the areas in which people ask my advice for, not because I'm an expert in these areas, definitely not. There are people who know way more than I do. I'm still a student. I still learn. But from the day I came here, I've always created a brand around myself that, okay, this guy is a reliable source of information. If you want to rent cars, if you want to get your driver's license, if you want to do marketing campaigns, certain areas in which I specialize in. So if you have an area of interest, if you have your chosen field of interest, please make sure that you create a brand around yourself right from the beginning, be it, curating content, chatting on LinkedIn, doing whatever that it takes to create a brand for yourself. It's going to help you in a huge way in the future.
I totally agree. Yeah, you want to be able to stand out in America, and kind of having that brand niche, kind of who are you in a word or a phrase, or kind of what are you about, that really helps to sell and market yourself and stand out in all the competition. So I totally affirm that. Gautam, this has been so much fun. I've learned so much. Thanks for sharing just your story, your journey, your experience. Hopefully it'll inspire rather than scare people away from something like this, because it sounds like it's possible.
Of course, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rob, for having me on this video. And it's been, I think I've been here for 2.5 years, and this is the first time we're getting to collaborate on a video. It was so much fun doing the video with you. I wish COVID was not there and we could have done this video in person. But nevertheless, it was fun speaking with you, and I hope I added some value to China coaching.
Oh no, this has been great. I learned so much. This is going to help so many other people. And you guys, if this has been helpful, give a big like, thumbs up to say thanks to Gautam, sharing his story. Don't forget to subscribe to Chine Coaching. We want to help you guys succeed in your cross-cultural journey, especially those right now considering things like MBAs abroad. And connect with us online. We'll have things for LinkedIn and other ways you guys can connect with us online. And we want to be a source to help you guys out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time at Chine Coaching. Cheers.